Hello, welcome to Now Streaming Sports. That's one time of the week where we gather to discuss the things that brings us together. That is sports, cutting across football, volleyball, basketball, and what have you. We're reaching you live from the studio of the Advent Cable here in the capital city of Abuja. And today we'll be doing this edition with my co-anchor, Godwin.
Thank you so much, Ebuka, and it's really a pleasure being on set again for the sports segment of the non-streaming show. And you know one thing, is that one time where I look at Konisoko who smiles and don't get agitated with his own side of the argument.
I guess because you support the same team, right?
No, I support Arsenal.
Oh, Arsenal.
Yeah, so we are rivals. We can never be
banter each
Indeed.
other. All right, so joining us here in the studio this morning is our guest, Mr. Raphael Ojaokomo. Mr. Raphael Ojaokomo is a sports commentator. Raphael, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. This is, like Gordon rightfully said, this is one segment of the show that I love a lot.
You can wear any jersey you
like. If you ask me, yes. If you ask me, I'd rather do this all day. Yeah. I'd rather do this all day than discuss issues that bring us to a point of close to blows. Sports, football is one thing that unites the nation, be it from your ethnic group, your religion, where everybody can be in one room and for that, at that point in time, forget everything that is even happening in the nation. So, like I said, if you ask me, I would rather do this every day, all day, than discuss all these issues that nobody is thinking of solving at all.
All right, thank you so much. Viewers, we also want to let you know that this show is for you and all of us here. So please kindly call in the number shown on your screen. Equally send in your comment via our various social media handles, also showing on your screen. But before we start the discussions for this morning, let's take a look at the front page of the Punch Sports Extra. And the list stories there is undisputed. This makes me remember a track. I think one artist like that. I can't remember which artist that released the track.
Undisputed champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I?
All right, and that's the story on page 7 of the Punch Sports Extra. And the kicker there says Nadozie claims third consecutive African Best Goalkeeper Award in Morocco. And the second there says Osimhen Ajibade loses Best Player Awards. All right, and just there we have the list of all 2025 CAF award winners. We have the men's player as Hakim, women's player as Chelbak, and the men's goalkeeper and the best women's goalkeeper, the women's young player, the men's young player, women's national team. Congratulations to our own Nigeria, and then the men's national team Morocco under 20, men's club of the year, and then men's inter club player of the year and men's coach of the year. All right, congratulations to all of them listed out there, most especially to our own Nadozie. And then above the masthead, we have the story on page 6. It says Osimhen in fitness race for Fenerbahce's derby. And page 6 also has a story on Italian journalist criticizes Lookman. On page 7 we have the story on Bassi turns focus on AFCON after World Cup Maze. Page 6 also has a story on Teller returns to Leverkusen team training. Alright, just beside the masthead we have the story on Nigeria climbs to 38 in new FIFA rankings. That's we're going up even with our poor performance for the World Cup qualifiers. Page 5 has a story on Arteta credits Pep with Arsenal's success. Page 5 also has a story on Chelsea gets Palmer injury boost. Page 3, we have the story on Deyemi's agent in talks with United. Is it West Ham United or Manchester United? We'll find out details about that in the course of this segment. Page 3 has a story on UEFA approves Barca's Camp Nou. And down to the bottom strip stories, we have the story on page 2. It says Sawonlu, others hail Oshodi on ITTF re-election. The new president of the ITTF election, Mr. Oshodi. At page 2, we have the story on Hopper's coach admits MBPL title pressure. These are many more stories we'll be discussing on the sports segment of today's edition. But before we begin, let's start with the story of the failed World Cup qualification. We have a headline that says, "We were only overwhelmed with the victory over Gabon and lost it all against DR Congo." No Juju.
I'll say this first. If you don't believe, yes, I know we don't want to hear it, maybe on this show, but what's there to hide about it? That there's no juju in football. Then you'll be doing yourself more harm than good. So many of these ex-internationals have come to say what they do and the things they do. I have had the opportunity of sitting. I'm not going to mention his name, but he was one influential personality in the Nigerian football system. I've had the opportunity of listening to him talk. In fact, when he finished saying it in my mind, I said, "Why come we never carry World Cup?" When he said, anytime we're going for any tournament, they have to remove a strand of hair from his head, and one thing for them to go and do one thing. And in my mind, I said, "Now I'll never win World Cup." What you go bow though? If every time you play ball, they pull your hair before you go, no, don't turn chicken when they put inside hospital. He said it. He said it with so much confidence to say, "This is what we do." And of course, I've had close relatives who played football to maybe the National League and thereabouts, and they tell you how some of these players then what they tie in their legs before they wear their boots and what have you. So is juju in football? Is voodoo in football? Yes, it is in football. But for the game against DR Congo, I think the team that wanted it more got it, because we are beginning to see the Nigerian Super Eagles as an Osimhen Eagles, in the sense that when he was on the pitch of play, we had a better chance, we played better football. But the moment he left due to his injury, the Congolese came from all angles, and mind you, the ref, of course, called out 2 goals, which were, of course, like the last one that, of course, everybody saw the last one was a foul, and then Mwabali saved the last minute header. Do you understand? From the same Chancellor Mbemba, who scored Cameroon the same kind of goal. And what more do you want from a goalkeeper who has saved 2 penalties? Is for you to convert yours. Do you understand? But we didn't have the players who have the heart of taking penalties on the pitch. Someone like a Trustekong, who we've known over time, when it comes to pressure, playing penalty under pressure, Ekong is number 1. All the goals he scored in the last AFCON were all from penalties, and they were not just ordinary penalties. They were penalties when the team needed. Against Cote d'Ivoire, we were playing against the host team. We won 1-0. It was a penalty. Against South Africa in the semi-finals, the goal there was scored was a penalty. In the penalty shootouts, he was still played amongst them. So on and so forth. When we played the last World Cup qualifiers that we didn't qualify, we played against Ghana, and Ghana was leading 1-0. We got a penalty. Who was it that came to play the penalty? It was still Ekong. Ekong was on the bench. Do you want to ask again? Yes, Tolu and Rokodare was brought in to help disturb them and reduce the pressure on the midfield and of course the defense, but he was anonymous on the pitch.
But sorry to cut you short. But before we come to Tolu's misperformance, because he did not perform in that game, a lot of our fans, or the Super Eagles fans out there, have been asking, why was Victor Osimhen substituted?
He was injured, and Osimhen is not one player that wants to leave the pitch when he knows he can get something out of the game. We all know that. We've all seen that. The last time he got injured against Rwanda, everybody said no, he faked it and blah 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 blah. I don't know how somebody who may never play at the World Cup would fake an injury not to win the game, because that is the place where everybody who term themselves as superstars go to show themselves. So why would I be running from it? Do you understand me? So my own bringing Tolu into the equation now is not because of how bad he played during the game. I felt Tolu should have been left on the pitch. When it comes to penalty shootout, he's an attacker. For crying out loud, we had 3 defenders play penalty. Bassi, I don't know what Bassi was thinking. Maybe he thought when he missed, they will play it again. Threw it out.
Over the bar.
We had what's it called? Bruno Onyemaechi converted his own kick, and then Semi Ajayi. You know, most of these guys on a normal day, you know, there's some players that will never stand in front of the 6-yard box to play penalty, and these are your Bassis, these are your Semi Ajayi. The question I was going, why was Aroko Diary removed? Because he was a substitute that was substituted.
But he played less than 30 minutes.
Do you understand me? And then you also have some so-called senior players in the team that when it was time for penalties, they all disappeared. And that's why you now started seeing all these other people. Ejuke, of course, came and played. Ejuke was one of the least people I expected to come and play penalty. Bruno Onyemaechi was one of the least people I expected to play penalty.
Where was Ndidi?
That's what I'm saying. Where was Wilfred Ndidi? Where was who again? You know, I cannot even remember. Frank Onyeka was on the pitch. Why wasn't Frank allowed to play? Do you understand me? But then again, penalty is something that you have to decide by yourself to say, I want to go and do it. But then this now tells you that Nigeria, after beating Gabon with that margin, thought DR Congo was going to be a roller coaster, and thus they did not practice penalty. That was why we got to the point. Then I started thinking, who is going to play? Who is going to play? If you are a team who practice penalty shootouts and you're expecting to play penalty shootouts,
you know your lineups.
You will know those who are going to play.
The penalty.
And if you check the Congolese, when it was time for the game to end, the minutes, they brought in the goalkeeper. But there was something I was reading on the dailies. This same goalkeeper is one who is not good with penalty shootouts. Because
never caught a
penalty. In fact, there was a game they played. The opponent scored 5 penalties against him. But he said to his coach that he dreamt that during this Nigerian game,
the ball went into penalties.
He went into penalties, and he found himself.
He saw the direction of
all the where Nigerian players would play the balls to. Do you understand me? And then, of course, even if he was lying, the facts are there to prove it.
And the coach must be a very, very biblical and spiritual person.
He must be spiritually inclined. But then let me tell you,
in dreams.
Let me tell you what happened. The only reason he caught Semi Ajayi's ball was because that was the only place Nigerian players played their ball to. Check everybody that scored for Nigeria. That was the direction they played their ball to. The only person whose ball did not go there was Bassi.
Went above.
And then Simon that went this other way. Everybody that scored for Nigeria, Akko, Adams, Chidera Ejuke, and Bruno Onyemaechi, played to that same direction. Psychologically, anybody would expect that. Anybody would expect that. The guy just came with some spiritual brouhaha.
So he's not Joseph the dreamer.
All right. We used to do that before. We used to do that with Enyama and Dele Ayenugba. Dele Ayenugba is the one. And funny enough, that guy is a third choice goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper for
Dele Ayenugba is the second choice goalkeeper of Nigeria then, who was understudying Vincent Enyama. And they always do this swap thing. But when he got to a game against Zambia in one of the Nations Cup, Enyama insisted that he wanted to remain on the field for that penalty shootout. And lo and behold, he caught 3 penalties in that shootout, and Nigeria won. And that was the last time we saw Dele Ayenugba coming into the pitch for penalty. The Netherlands team did it. Whenever they got to penalty, I think it was in 2010 on one of the World Cup, whenever they get too close to the penalty, they bring in the second choice goalkeeper, Tim Krul, who comes in and is bullying you. Before you know, you don't put ball for your hand. We didn't just prepare for penalty shootouts.
It is well.
And the better team won.
Oh, it is well. In a football game, just like, what's his name? It will be said, one team wins and the other team loses. Dreams, not all dreams comes into reality.
I don't like to hear such statements. I'm
quoting Alex Iwobi, and he said that not all dreams come to reality. So the dreams of the Super Eagles team to the FIFA World Cup 2026 has been has fallen off. And so takeaway from that is that the Nigerian team will not be in USA, Canada, Mexico 2026 for the FIFA 2026 World Cup. And we have the likes of nations like Haiti and what have you.
Curacao, Haiti, Cape Verde.
Very little countries with very, very poor or very little populations. And countries like Haiti that has been undergoing some political
Haiti has
unrest.
never played. They've never played any home game in Haiti
Games in their country
because of
the
unrest
in their country, have qualified for the FIFA 2026 World Cup. And I'm hearing that Russia is pulling up some strings for non-qualified nations to play another version
Tournament
of the World Cup.
They should invite Nigeria.
Nigeria is not qualified, so Nigeria, if that pulls through, Nigeria will or equally be attending or be participating in that competition. So one of the takeaway from this is that this gives us more time to concentrate or look into the AFCON that is coming up in December 2025, and we pray that the Super Eagles team will perform.
That's the only.
better.
That's the only way to compensate Nigerians. Just go there and win it.
Yes, I guess so. So the second chance, or the only chance we have now to bring smiles to the face of our fans, is to go to the AFCON and bring home the trophy. Come on, come.
All right. Thank you so much, Ebuka. Indeed, the only way to compensate Nigeria is to go to AFCON and bring in the trophy. I listened very attentively to when Raf was making his analysis. But I think one critical part we all are not looking at is that of the coach. Because in as much as we have lost, we are back home preparing for AFCON. We are pained at the fact that countries that are way not up to a level in football have qualified. But like the saying goes, this is football. You don't look down on even the smallest of teams. You will still have them do.
Not to cut you short. That I like when you say don't look down on teams. If you look at where Haiti came from,
yes,
Haiti qualified from a group that had Costa Rica and Honduras.
And those are footballing nations.
Strong nations, they don't miss the World Cup. They don't miss the World Cup coming from the CONCACAF axis. But Haiti came from that same group.
But even at that, no doubt, times change. You don't expect. There's this perception we always have. We go on to the football pitch with the mindset of Nigeria is a footballing nation, giant of Africa. We would dominate any play. You get. So this thing, I think, to an extent, is really troubling us.
No.
Just like Raf also said, he said we played these present qualifiers hanging all our hopes on the like of Osimhen, and when he's out of the game, the Congolese took advantage of that and did the damage. But like I was pointing out again, the coach himself, Harry Chen, you discover that strategy is everything. If you check all through the follow-up match to the Congolese match, you would see lapses. Sincerely, you will just see players coming up. How did we qualify? How did we win the match before this one? It was like we almost lost. Is it not up to
The extra time?
Extra time that these players start converting their chances. You get, and almost the same thing played out. Now you now begin to ask yourself, where is strategy in or within Harry Chell technical team?
If you
get, so these are questions I need to get. If you check it again, the Congolese team, where their coach in this sense was very much into the match. That was why he knew the right time to bring in the third choice goalkeeper. The stories we are now hearing are backroom stories, but within the match he knew when to do that. And now we are saying that all our goal takers, penalty kickers and the rest, were not seen as at when penalties are to be taken. So the bigger question is, where is the coach? Where is the technical team?
Before you make your comments, Mr. Rafa, I want to ask this question now. Having seen how all things played out, is there still a future for Eric Chell in the Super Eagles? And what is the way forward? Will he be replaced? Are we looking for a replacement? Just like the Federation of Benin Football has urged Garnet Roy to resign, will we see the likes of Shell leaving the?
Let me say this: it will be foolish for any right-thinking person to throw away Eric Shell, and I'll tell you why.
Because he has won.
If
recently.
Eric Shell handled this same qualifiers from the beginning, till date, will not be playing playoff. How many games has he lost since he came in? None. Even up until the game against DR Congo, he got you, except for the draw we played against, what's it called? We played against South Africa in South Africa, and we all know how that game panned out. Someone like Olaino is still injured because of the pitch. And also the draw against Zimbabwe, and which was not his doing, or not his making, was as a flat-footed defender, what's it called, Ekong, who allowed the guy just stroll past him at the 90+3 whatever, which I'm very sure if we had gotten 3 points from that game, we will not be playing playoff because we'll be qualifying top of the group. So now the question you want to ask yourself is this: what was the NFF body doing that they waited a long time? 3 coaches took us through these qualifiers. Pesero out of 6 points got 2. Finidi out of 2 points got 1. Eric Shell out of 18 points got 14. So how do you now begin to score these people? Out of possible 18 points, he got 14. So, and then played some friendly games, won you the Unity Cup. Yes, it might be a friendly game. So you get to a point where what we need to start looking at is recruitment of fresh legs into the team. People who really want to play in this team, not people who are there based on who they know. That's why, there was time I was saying, now I understand why some players get called up into the national team even when they've not played any football for a long time. How do you owe somebody since 2019? Of course, you can't call somebody else now. You keep calling the same people because we'll give them money, man, just come, go run for them, man, just come. And those guys will, because they just want to be on the field, play this game. When we lost against Benin 2-1 to this World Cup qualifier, the same Benin that we defeated like they don't know how to play football, we lost against them 2-1 on a neutral ground. And then someone who is your assistant captain comes out to say we must not win every game. Guy, it's a World Cup. This same DR Congo were supposed to have qualified straight. They had the game in their hand. Draw or win against Senegal at home and top the group all the way. And they lost in their own backyard. Do you know what happened in that stadium? The same thing that happened the day Nigeria lost against Ghana. Because they felt this was in our hand and we threw it away. It shouldn't be happening. So for Eric Shell, he might have made some wrong calls during the substitution, but I think a lot of us didn't give him a chance at all when he was recruited by the NFF, because the question is this: most of the coaches that Nigeria hire, a lot of them just want to come and use Nigeria and create a CV for themselves. Because for a lot of them, we don't even know who they are before they come into Nigeria to want to coach one thing or the other. And then again, this is not club side football, this is country football, so I don't think we want to be swapping coaches anyhow. What we need right now are players who are ready to put on that jersey and give 100% on the pitch.
All right, so you having said that Eric Chell is not to be blamed for the poor performance or not qualifying for the FIFA 2026 World Cup, who should be blamed? Is it the board or the players?
At this point in time, I don't want to be throwing blames here and there, but it's a holistical thing. Everybody is involved. Everybody is involved. Where were the players when we were drawing against Lesotho, Zimbabwe. Rwanda? We picked 5 draws 5. And these 5 draws, you would think maybe is away. No.
Home.
At least 2 or 3 of them were at home. These are places where you should be getting your 3 points, and then when you go away, do whatever it is you want to do away. Do you understand me? Where were those players? Then again, the question I want to ask again, who were inviting these players? You might think maybe the coach himself have the sole power of inviting these players. If you think that way, you'll be wrong. You'll be wrong. When we lost against Rwanda at home in Nigeria in the Nations Cup qualifiers 2-1, someone like Iguavon was asked, because it was one that was coach that period, why are you inviting Kelechi Iheanacho when he got injured? He has been out for a while. He just came back. He has not played anything. Why are you inviting Sadiq? He just got back from injury. You know what Iguavon said? It would be unfair not to call them.
Not to call them. Yeah, because I guess because they are being owed for previous matches.
That's all.
And they had to show
the NFF. I don't think
the
NFF. I don't think knows what they are doing, because if they know what they are doing, Nigerian football is going down the drain. You know, you feed your national team from your age group players. Right now, we don't have any under 17. We don't have any under 20.
Under 23 even went to Chile.
Under 23. Oh, that's under 20. So now we don't have any. From the girls' angle, both under 17, under 20.
Nothing.
This way too. Except for the Falcons, where they make us appear every now and then.
And they won. Congratulations to them once again for winning the best team at the CAF award. They won women's best national team. All right. Thank you so much for your time today on the show. Thank you, my co-anchor.
Thank you,
for being here.
Thank you.
Mr. Raphael Ojaokoma.
Thank you very
here.
much.
And also at the first part of this show, we had Comrade Abraham Soko. Thank you. Thank you so much, our viewers, for being part of today's show and for staying tuned up until now. So, in honor of a remarkable telecaster who touched lives through his works in our National Church Communication Department on our airwaves, we leave you with these words of wisdom. Mend it, don't end it in a hurry. Until we come your way again, may you strive for excellence in all you do by being your best, staying passionate, staying positive, and keeping the spirit of the game alive. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.